Paul. Karele kwa ba shitse ba boletse ka nnete ke Bra Paul. Re go tshela ba theletša. Radio go kere le mogodi o sa tukise le mara radio yona re theleditše. Ke a le dumedisha ka lebitso le matla la morena mophološi rena Jesu Kriste. Apa mara le bona no ka re le galadile. Lo right. Lo right. O ka lo tsenyana so lo right. A ke le jele di starter. So everybody na le energy. Ka shitse ba boletse nna ke nna Mantsha Pheeha. Ke rata go acknowledge baruti ka moka, the leadership of the church. Ke acknowledge Mama Vai ke na inviting. As ke tlekeletse ke tlelo papa o ivamba le bone. Yeah, that's my dad. Ke le woman masentle bana ba bomma ka moka go moshuki mogadi we ba ba go. Yeah, re feletse ka bogwana. So the topic that I've been given today is called failure is not the end. And I think it's something that is so important for us as human beings to understand. When I was younger, no one had told me that there will ever be a possibility that I could fail. So I went through life thinking everything that I'm going to do is going to succeed. I mean, number 13, so when failure hit my life, I was one of those unfortunate people. When failure hit my life, it came from all the corners of the earth. So when I experienced failure, it came quickly and it came with a very high intensity and it found me unprepared. So what I hope to do today is share in a very short time, the short time that I have, is share with you and encourage you to not only prepare yourself for failure, but to prepare your children for failure. So that by the time your child finds a difficult situation that is difficult to deal with, prior to your child arriving at that situation, your child already knows what it takes to thrive and to do well in the midst of that difficult situation. Class at the time when she is repeating, when she is doing well and she's not failing, teach your child that should it happen that one of these years you don't do well, this is how we handle it. If you have sons, I don't know, because these days so if you have sons, you need to explain to your son how this is how you deal with it, so that your son does not walk away all the time, but he understands what it takes to turn the first no into an ultimate yes. If we learn to do that with our lives, we will be even more successful than we are. I've actually gone ahead of myself a little bit. Let me go back to the statistic that Ndate Freddy Griva gave us earlier. So the thing is, when I used to work in government, Ndate Freddy was the mayor. So now I was not involved. But all the girls used to say he's hot. Now I used to tell them, hey guys, don't speak like that about the honorable man. Now I'm not involved. I just want to put it out there that nothing about Harlan, I think. Guys, why do you speak like that about the honorable man? So I just wanted to put it out there, but that's not the point I wanted to make about what he said. So he said, son, go young guys, come back. So he said something, he says, the statistic that he quoted says, women from the ages of 10 to 70 spend, and I want you to say it slowly so that you hear it, 15,500 hours doing productive work, but that is unpaid. He actually reminded me of another statistic. So I had the privilege of attending a men's conference. And at that men's conference, there's a famous doctor, some of you may know him, he's on TV, Dr. Ramatesele, was sharing. And he was saying that if you observe small children, the girls are playing with dolls, they are playing with toy stoves, they are playing with dolls, they are changing the diapers of their dolls, and then they grow up. Then as they grow up, what do? They start taking care of children, they start cooking real food, and they start washing like real clothes. They are no longer. And he said, if you observe young boys, are you listening? What are they playing with? With cars. When you observe men, what are they still playing with? So when he was talking about emotional maturity to the guys, he was saying, guys, all of us here, because it was a men's conference, he said all of us here have the emotional maturity of a 6-year-old because we're still going at the age of 50. So that statistic reminded me of this one. So 3 things that I want us to talk to is vision, number 1. Remember, we're talking about the fact that failure is not the end. Is vision number 1. And when we talk about vision, this is how I want you to remember it. When you think vision, think trousers, think pants. You know trousers, buruhu? Again? So again, sometimes, when we went to school during the DET time, so sometimes when I pronounce something, people can't hear what I'm saying. What are trousers? And trousers came. So that's why I also had to say pants. So when you think vision, you think trousers, you think pants. The second thing, be persistent. Don't give up. So when you think persistence, I want you to think catching a chicken. You're not going to forget again. What is vision? Yes. What is persistence? Okay. Then the last thing, I want you to think about the other 8 hours. The other 8 hours. So you need to have a vision in your life. How many of us have heard that before, that you need to have a vision? Most of us have heard that you need to have a vision. You need to have a vision in your life because what does a vision do? A vision will help you to set boundaries. There are certain things that you want to do with your life, but when you have a vision, you won't be able to do them. Let me give you an example. You know these women that are called turn-up queens, that are always going out to the clubs, that are always looking beautiful, smoking and drinking champagne, but never getting drunk. Have you ever met one of these women? You don't know them. So they are known in the community. Everyone knows them. They are the slay queens. They are the ones that are at all the important events. If they don't come to your party is nothing. So if one of those women becomes pregnant, no one has to tell her to stop going to those parties. No one has to tell her to stop drinking champagne, to stop smoking, and to stop fraternizing with all the boys. But because she is pregnant with vision, the vision will then say to her, you can no longer drink champagne, no matter how free it is and how much it is bubbling. What you are pregnant with will detain you from doing certain things. So the reason why sometimes our children look like they lack ambition is not because they lack ambition. It's simply because they don't have a strong enough why. A why that says to them, you can't take Nyaope. A why that says to them, you can't sleep with every girl in the village. A why that says to them, a person who wants to go where you want to go cannot do these things because your position and that position that you are given by your vision does not allow you to do these things. So instead of talking to our kids, and instead of talking to ourselves, and we are busy saying, do not, and we are handing out rule after rule after rule, what we need to do is we need to assist them to figure out their why. Because when they have the why will say to them, you cannot go here. Because if you go here, you will abort the very vision you are here to accomplish. So remember I said when you think vision, think about trousers. So let's say you wake up in the morning. And when you wake up in the morning, I don't know how you make your clothing decisions. But for me, I'm an engineer. You'll find me at a gala dinner dressed like this. Tomorrow you'll find me at a funeral still dressed like this. You find me at work dressed like this. But I can see from how you guys look that you guys probably have gala dinner clothes, you have work clothes, you have funeral clothes. So mine do one purpose suit all. That's how I buy. So if you wake up in the morning with an intention to wear a particular style of pants, when you are sleeping, you decide the other time. And then when you wake up in the morning, your mind is already made up. You know that these are the pants I want to wear. When you wake up in the morning, these pants. She's not going to say, no man, she's going to try and ask if there's an auntie in the house. Auntie, But the fact of the matter is, unless if you think the pens are stolen, you will look for them and you will wear them. So when you think about your vision, think about it the exact same way. Number one, don't allow yourself to live your life not knowing what your vision is. Don't allow it to be a norm in your life that, you know what, I don't know why I'm alive, but I'll just do whatever is available until I die. Don't allow yourself to say, since I don't know why I'm here, let me just help those who know. Make it a point that if God brought you on earth for a specific assignment, you will not leave the earth until you achieve that assignment. So you can't say, if these are the only pens that you have, you can't say, you won't. You will look for them until you find them. So I want us to have the exact same attitude with our personal vision. I want you to say, until I know why I'm here on earth, I will not relax and say, I want you to be persistent in finding out what your vision is. It's the same thing with men and cows. So, when we were growing up, on the days that Bukuku decided that we must eat a live chicken, my grandmother would send one of us to go and catch a chicken. You know, I actually think chickens have some kind of sixth sense or some kind of Holy Spirit that assists them to know that it's my day. Because on the day, so then you will go, you will chase this chicken. On the day of that, I mean, it's the same with us as human beings. You don't think you can run until someone is trying to kill you. One day when I was at the Val, I was running, so I'm a runner. Do I look like one? I hope I look like one. You know? So I was running at the Val in a game farm. And as I was running, I was so tired and I was just about to get to the chalet where I was staying. And as I was running, wild dogs, I never knew I could run that fast in my life. I was tired, but from the time I saw those dogs, in a minute I was at the door of my chalet. I ran. Zolabad had nothing. Kasta Siminya had nothing on me. So chickens are the same. When they realize that their lives are in danger, you have never seen that chicken running the way it does. But if you are a child and you catch a chicken, you know better than to go back and say kukuki palechu. You can never, even at that early age, we knew that an instruction to say go and catch a chicken is the result of that instruction is not a caught chicken. The result of that instruction is a drumstick in your mouth. So you were very clear that you are not chasing your chicken, but you are getting yourself today you have the great responsibility of catching the chicken for the house. So you will never come back and say I failed. You will never come back and say the chicken outran me. You know what? You will not come back with a different chicken. So the way that we persist with our dreams, the way that we persist with our vision, the way that we persist with our goals, coming back and saying I have completely failed must never be an option. You must come back having fulfilled the assignment that God has given you. So if your dreams or your vision are about your career, when you lose this one job, it is not speaking to your entire career. So the way you face the loss of that job is different because it's just one puzzle within the entire frame of your career. It is not everything. When you are in business and you lose this one deal, or maybe the political faction that you were in bed they truly are. It's like a robot. Actually, as a robot, traffic light. I can never robot. A traffic light. When you are driving from Joburg or you're driving from Polokwane to come to Seshego and you meet a red traffic light, how many of us will say, yeah, now it's a the robot every time how many of us will do that? If you go to your house and you can't open the door, how many of us will say, what that room in rat? What that every time you get but how many of us do that in our jobs, with our careers, in our families? How many of us are so quick to give up? So be persistent. If God has spoken to you that tonight we are having chicken soup or chicken stew for dinner and your responsibility is to catch the chicken, don't come back without it. Come back with the chicken. Lastly, so allow me. What am I going to put on the Miss Spain? Then I guess we'll like it. My guess what am I going to do? Spain, but right again. Okay, I didn't know what I'm doing. So, in life, most of us focus on the negative things and we stay there. When you have a bad boss, you can spend all your days at work discussing how bad your boss is and how you would do a good job if you were given the opportunity to be the boss. Let me break it to you. You will not be the boss because you can't handle the job that you have. Instead of handling the job that you have, you want to tell the Honorable Cyril Ramaphosa how to run a country, but you can't even run your private life. Your life is in a mess, and you think you can run the country. So have you ever had our discussions, you know what the governor is doing is very wrong. Why is he talking about SAA? The only time you saw SAA was when they were take a ticket unamela. But somehow you have convinced yourself that you have what it takes to run not only the entire airline, but all the SOEs in the country. But you can't run your life, I don't know why, guys, I'm also part of those people who are having these discussions. So I want you to think about your life, So for most of us, except 10-up queens, and I can see that there are a couple here, 10-up queens and 10-up queens, they don't sleep a lot, those ones, but they're not ordinary people. So an ordinary person will sleep on average 8 hours. On average. I'm not saying you must go, if you're sleeping for 6, you must add 2 more. But if you're sleeping for 2 hours, it's a problem, just add a few more. So an average person will sleep for 8 hours. So that 8 out of the 24 hours we discount it, we don't regard it. So you are left with 16 hours. You are left with 16 hours. When you are left with 16 hours, out of those 16 hours, 8 of those 16 hours, you are involved in some kind of a job. It may be in the ministry, it may be your career, it may be your business, it may be that unproductive work that was, that productive unpaid work that was spoken about earlier. So 8 of those hours, you are involved in that. Then you are left with the other 8 hours. So for those of us who are unhappy where we are, many of us are unhappy with the 8 hours that we are spending in our jobs. And you know what? Everyone who has a job gets a salary. So for those 8 hours that you are complaining about, the one thing that you have to show for it is the salary that you get from those 8 hours. And what do we have to show for your salary, your monthly salaries? Some of you is the houses that you have bought. Some of you is the cars that you have bought. Some of you, myself excluded, is the hair that you have bought. Some of you is the eyelashes that you have bought. So our salaries